Target, unknown. Asset, unknown. Protocol, Omega. Germination, data corrupted. All sections, top priority. Rush hour. A river of headlights inched through the humid dusk along the Palmetto Expressway. An inbound Continental jet from Houston cleared the highway and touched down at Miami International. Then, a United flight from Oklahoma City. Serge snapped a photo out the window of a green and orange 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner. They took the next exit. Coleman looked around a dark neighborhood of burglar bars and darting shadows, then back up at the parallel elevated expressway with a row of reassuring streetlights.
I'd feel a lot safer if we were still on that other road.
And that's exactly why we're down here.
The needle dipped under 30 as Serge leaned over the steering wheel. Coleman leaned over his bong.
Why are we down here?
Miami's gotten an unfair reputation just because of all the tourist murders. I blame the media.
It's not right.
And ground zero of this herd-thinning epidemic is the ancillary roads around the airport, where roving bands of land pirates cruise for unsuspecting visitors in rental cars who get lost and take the wrong exit. So we took the wrong exit.
But we're only 2 guys, said Coleman. How can we change things?
All it takes is one headline.
Coleman looked down at himself.
Is that why we're dressed like this?
Serge floored the gas and cut his lights.
What are you doing?
Here's our headline.
On the shoulder of a dim and deserted access road, a retired tool and die salesman from Bowling Green stood next to his wife behind their rented Taurus. At gunpoint. The carjacker heard something and turned.
What the?
A screech of brakes. The assailant went up over the front bumper, then bounced off the windshield and landed at the feet of the shaken couple. Serge jumped out with his own gun. The couple's hands went back up.
Put your arms down,
said Serge. He grabbed the wrist of the would-be thief for a pulse.
I'm not robbing you. I'm rescuing you.
The man squinted in the darkness at Serge's leotard and flowing red cape, then his chest.
Superman?
No, that's a different S. I'm Serge.
The woman stared at a passenger climbing out the other side of the Plymouth.
Who's that?
Serge glanced over the roof at Coleman, wearing a plain white t-shirt with flames drawn in red magic marker.
The Human Torch.
Coleman waved cheerfully and lit a joint. Serge dragged the carjacker by the ankles and threw him in the trunk. Then he walked back to the driver's door.
Shit, I gotta run in my tights.
He looked up.
Welcome to Miami. Please tell the media.
Tell them what? Serge gathered up his cape and put on a helmet with a revolving red light.
Everything's normal.
A Plymouth Roadrunner raced east on the Palmetto Expressway. Another overhead thunder of Pratt & Whitney jet engines. Outside the airport, people on cell phones covered free ears. Arriving passengers looked up from the curb as an Aeromexico 747 roared on takeoff. The airliner quickly gained altitude. It reached the edge of the Everglades and banked over a patchwork of water-filled limestone quarries. Between 2 of the quarries, a dozen men in jumpsuits looked up at the drone from the Cancun-bound flight. Its moonlit contrail disappeared in the clouds. The sound faded to crickets. Back to work. It was an old barn of a warehouse, sun-baked, remote, corrugated aluminum. Used to be an airplane hangar with 2 huge doors that slid open on rusty tracks. The doors had a single row of windows, long since spray-painted black. 3 white vans sat in the back of the building. Magnetic catering signs suggested they knew what they were doing with wedding cakes. Men unloaded wooden crates under fluorescent lights. Every